Ready for our Wednesday to Wednesday Tesla weekly news recap?
My Wednesday to Wednesday, because I don't believe in Sunday to Sunday. That is a ploy by the calendar company or something along those lines.
Well, first up, we have some pretty big news.
Yeah?
Elon Musk tested positive for COVID,
Oh no.
but he also tested negative.
Oh yes.
And that is that. We will go on from there.
Rolling right along.
$35,000 Model 3.
Yes.
Remember that one?
It is a lie,
That was
kind of, sort of.
It's always been a lie. It's always been a lie, according to that guy that said it was a lie. It was the initial Model 3 that was, 2016 when this car was first revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was like, whoa, $35K, it's affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Electric, long range, affordable. Three words that, just didn't mash up at the time. It was never really on the site. It was sold
It was on the site for
off.
a month.
It was sold on like a week. I'll give it 7 days.
I don't remember. It was so long ago at this point, but I feel like it was at least a month. Regardless.
Yeah, it was there. They took it down, but they left it available to order off the books.
It was a
You'd
secret
have to
menu.
call in, and it was the
Like you're going to
animal
In-N-Out.
style fries.
Yeah,
of
there you
Tesla. People actually didn't believe that you could order it, but you could.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't anymore. It's finally gone officially.
According to electric sources to electric, because there's no more PR in Tesla, so we have to take it at their word.
Yeah, but you also don't need PR to call up a Tesla dealer and say, "Hey, can I order the $35,000 Model 3?" So it has basically been confirmed. You can no longer order the $35,000 Model 3.
Mm-hmm.
The current lowest Model 3 is let me see here, 263 miles for $37,990.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not too much more. The only difference between the two was a little bit less range.
Yep.
I'm not too sure how much. It was 220 versus
it was 220 at the
263.
time, but if it was 220, but that was before any of the battery changes now, because the standard range plus was 240 at the time. So with current battery, it'd probably come out to,
assuming that, because this was software limited.
Yeah.
You're assuming that they
Right.
increased the
yeah.
alongside it. And it also didn't have autopilot as a base feature. You had to buy it separately for, I believe it was 2000.
I thought it was
Autopilot is based on every Tesla now.
Mm-hmm.
It was never really worth it, at all.
Yeah, but
They kind of just, which is why they didn't offer it online. It was just an off the menu, hey, we still have it. Don't add us.
We did it, but leave us alone.
We're just not going to talk about it anymore. I don't know. How do you feel about it now that it's gone? Does it make you want it more?
I mean, no, but I feel like it's always better to have options, even though this admittedly wasn't much of an option, given that it was not really advertised at all whatsoever. You have to be pretty deep into Tesla to know that it even continued to exist and how to order it. But I feel like it shouldn't have hurt too much to continue offering it, because it's essentially the standard, the regular one, the standard range plus, which is software limited battery. It's not like it's a completely different, they're taking time to create a completely different part for it, or the battery is a completely different size. It's the same car. They just said, yeah, well, you can't use the whole battery in this one. So
It's just software limited.
Yeah, so I don't really see them winning too much in terms of production efficiency or something along those lines.
Well, because it's the same car, it has the same features. It has it doesn't have autopilot active, but it has the cameras.
Yep.
It doesn't have that 263-mile range, but it has the battery. It's all just software limited, which means it cost them the same to build the $35,000 Model 3 versus the $37,990 Model 3. So
I guess
they probably were losing money on it. They were probably losing money on it.
Well, it'd be interesting to know how many of them they actually ever sold.
Yeah, I don't know how many people were A, aware of it, and B, willing to make that sacrifice. Because as soon as you want autopilot, it's already not worth it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why anyone out there is driving a car without an autopilot.
Yeah, how dare 99 point whatever percent of the Earth's
That's
population
crazy to
drive
me.
without autopilot? How dare they? How do they live with themselves? Ugh. But yeah, so I guess it further streamlines the production process or whatever, helps with getting those couple extra $1,000 for the 20 people that actually bought the $35,000 Model 3.
So how long until the standard range plus just becomes the standard range on their site?
um, hmm. I don't think they're gonna go through changing it. I think it's just gonna stay like that, unless, unless they're waiting for the entire Model 3 range to just continue going up in range, and then they'll just release the standard range again, but it will have like 260 miles because the regular standard range plus will be at 300 by that point or something. I don't know. Maybe if Tesla's ever really down in the dumps and they need some hype, maybe they'll reintroduce the $35,000 standard range Model 3. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna change the name though.
Oh, we never saw back the short range, standard range Model S or X. Those have been gone for over a year now.
And the standard
Still
range
called the
Model
long range.
standard range Model Y was canceled because it needs
Yeah.
to have over 250 miles.
Who knows? The standard range Model 3 could be canceled next. It's currently the only car with a standard range.
Yeah, but I feel like it's so important because it's the cheapest car they got. I'm sure that at least drives a decent amount of sales.
Model 2 comes out.
Until the Model 2. Yeah. When the Model 2 comes out, then we'll see if standard range Model 3 goes away.
On to the next news, we have Tesla's appearance in the hip TV show called The Simpsons. That's newsworthy.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the show.
The Simpsons featured a Tesla Roadster.
Yup.
And I believe that's the end of that one too.
Yup. We can move right along.
So the Model Y is set to come out with the 7-seat option.
Eventually
soon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think it was set for the end of this year or so. We actually saw it on stage when they initially revealed the Model Y.
Yep.
And now that we have the Model Y in our hands and everyone's able to touch and feel the car, they're like, there's not a lot of room back here.
Who would have thought?
Which there isn't. We had Sandy Munro go ahead and talk about it at one point. Mention that really if Tesla wants to put 7 adults in his car, they have to put rear facing.
Mm-hmm.
But Tesla's assured that it's not going to be rear facing.
Mm-hmm.
So this YouTube channel, I1 Tesla, decided to build his own 7-seat option.
He's gonna do it himself.
Just check that out. Yep. Check that out if you want to see what the 7-seat option could potentially look like.
Yep.
Dennis, why don't you talk about ZETA?
ZETA. Well, it is a group of about 28 companies ranging from automakers such as Tesla and Lucid and Rivian to charging companies such as ChargePoint to straight up energy companies like PG&E Corporation, lithium companies like Piedmont Lithium. So basically, if you can think of any sector that has anything to do with electric cars, there's at least some sort of representation in this group that is called ZETA, which stands for Zero Emission Transportation Association. And basically their goal is to push for electric vehicle initiatives and try to speed up the electrification process through legislative actions as quick as they possibly can. So it's just basically a lobbying group that will try to, show some influence in our Congress and whatnot to try and pass some sort of, legislation or come up with some sort of programs that gets people, expanding their knowledge more on electric cars and stuff like that. So to be pretty brief with it, they have 5 key factors they want to look at. Number 1 is outcome-driven consumer EV incentives. So obviously they want to push for stuff that gets EV incentives. Obviously, lower prices help push cars. And it doesn't take rocket science to do that. Then number 2 is emissions performance standard enabling full electrification by 2030. So they want to push for emissions targets that push for emissions targets that will push for electric cars by 2030. Infrastructure investments, obviously, more charging stations, the more people feel comfortable driving electric cars because they won't think that they'll end up being stranded in the middle of the road because there's not as many charging stations as there are gas stations in the world. Number 4 is domestic manufacturing. They want to, have electric cars be produced within the U.S. And number 5 is federal leadership in cooperation with subnational entities. So, federal government supports state actions and whatnot, and everyone's holding hands and hoping that the legislation they push will be effective. So it's 28 founding members in ZETA. I'm sure more can be added if they want to, but you can go see them for yourselves. Obviously, Tesla is the biggest name there, so that is why this group is noteworthy because, groups pushing for electrification isn't exactly new, but this one is probably the most high-profile one. Whether they'll be successful or not, you know how slow things happen in governments worldwide. Who knows if there'll be any immediate actions from the group, but keep your eyes on that, I guess.
It's pretty interesting to see Tesla in this group because as far as I know, they've kind of been a lone wolf. They haven't really joined many other groups.
I want to say you're right. I think there was a group like 4 or 5 years ago, but I don't remember them. But yeah, they tend to kind of stay on their own lane. But here it's a decent number. There's some big names: Siemens, Proterra for the buses, ChargePoint, like I said. So it's a very combined effort going on here.
On to the next, we have news on Tesla hiring a lot of people, which, of course, companies hire people as they grow. It's interesting to see that Tesla's continuing to grow this late. A lot of people would have assumed by now they'd be nearing their top. They'd be nearing their peak. Everyone was assuming, Model 3 was going to be the top of Tesla and they would never be able to sustain. And it looks like they're surpassing what they did last year. They're going to do 500,000 cars this year was what was expected.
I think it's even more funny because not too long ago, we were seeing Elon deciding to close all the stores. And
Yep. That last minute decision to close every single Tesla store and go online focus lasted about 12 hours before it was reversed.
But it happened. Some stores were closing, and then here we are.
Maybe he knew something we didn't, because now Tesla, who was stuck paying rent for all those physical locations in malls while the malls were shut down. Maybe Elon knew something.
No, I don't think you could. No. Don't get. Don't be handing out those morsels. We're gonna have some crazy conspiracy theories coming around. But yeah, more people.
It's a lot of people.
A lot of people.
1,000 people in the last 2 months.
1,000 people is a lot of people. So I guess they're gonna sell a lot of cars. I mean, we're seeing them sell a lot of cars.
Do we have any guidance for 2021?
No.
None at all. No estimates. No percent year over year that we were expecting.
Well, I mean, you and all the other analysis can expect whatever you want to expect, but from Tesla's mouth,
No, from Tesla, nothing.
They said nah. They said you wait till we end the year and then we'll tell you, because
It's actually impressive that they're nearing the 500,000 goal, given the entire state of humanity.
The fact that they were closed for like a month and a half, I think that's pretty commendable.
Continuing with Tesla's successes, why don't you talk about the S&P 500?
Oh yeah, that happened.
What? No one told me.
Yeah, so as Tesla got into the S&P 500, people thought it was gonna happen sooner because of how huge Tesla has become and how just the percent green goes up and up every single quarter. And many people thought that once Tesla was able to show that they were profitable for at least 4 quarters, because obviously S&P 500 doesn't want a company that can go bankrupt at any second, so they're at least somewhat selective in that regard. So once we saw the quarter before, where they were 4 quarters straight profitable, everyone's like, yes, S&P 500, here we go. But they said, no, we're just not going to add you. We're going to add these 2 other companies that I forgot what they were.
Take Etsy instead.
Yeah. So everyone's like, what? That's crazy. Why would you do that? There's a conspiracy theory, yada, yada, yada. The S&P 500 doesn't like Tesla, doesn't like Elon, whatever. But now the S&P 500 was like, you know what? 5 straight quarters? All right. That's pretty cool. I guess we can't really ignore how much this company is worth at this point anymore. So they're going to include them into their index starting December 21st, which is obviously has become a very running joke in the Tesla community because it's the shortest day of the year and Tesla likes to burn down the shorts. Ha 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 ha. So that's that. So if you are in the S&P 500, if it's definitely an accomplishment for any company because that seems to be the most influential, most biggest companies in the world get to be included. I mean, we don't really need Tesla to be in the S&P 500 to realize how big and influential they are, but there you go. There's a little accolade for you, a little gold star. And if you do participate in that ETF, look out for part of those funds to be allocated to Tesla stock.
And Elon Musk's response was, and I paraphrase word for word, ETFs are dumb.
Only stock he holds is Tesla. Only invest in companies you want.
That's the only one.
ETFs, no. Individual companies, yes. So Elon does not care.
So speaking of Twitter comments. Waymo.
Waymo.
Your favorite company.
I love Waymo. Like saying their name.
Decided to throw some shade at Tesla.
I guess, yeah.
So this boy Carl, right?
This boy Carl.
He said,
What did he say?
would you say that your technology is orders of magnitude more advanced than the more vocal competitor with a misleading branding? And Waymo said, yes. So, yeah.
Well, I feel like anyone watching this, you know the implication here of who Carl is asking about, and I'm sure Waymo knows who Carl is implying here. So
this boy Carl, I'm shaking my head at you.
There's a little not even Twitter drama, but little Twitter tidbit. Waymo said, "Yeah, we better." I mean,
they do have a little bit. A little bit to back that.
Their entire business is that one thing, so I would hope they could at least. I mean, they have the taxis coming around already.
Tesla
in Phoenix
has more cars, more data, more real world experience, but Waymo actually has robo-taxis on the road today, in case you didn't know. They are limited to pre-mapped areas, but let's see who wins, who gets there first. Does Tesla achieve full self-driving everywhere, or can we map the entire United States before that happens?
That's a race.
We will wait and find out, but as it stands, Waymo does have robo-taxis on the road today.
To be fair, I'm still waiting for my cross-country autopilot from Elon. That was supposed to be
in 2016. We don't talk about that anymore, Dennis.
I'm sorry.
I just in the
got
bucket
reminded
with the $35,000 Model 3. We don't talk about it.
I just got reminded of it, and now that FSD has become beta, now just autopilot across the country isn't going to be impressive anymore. Now I'm going to need FSD across the country.
I still don't think it can. Not with no, what do they call it? Interruptions,
yeah. Disengagements.
There's no way. There's no way we'll make it across the country on 0 disengagements. There's absolutely no way. I'd put money against it happening. I would love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I am not anti-Tesla. Mm-hmm. I would absolutely love to see it. I just don't think it's there yet.
Well, here's another race to coincide with our favorite electric races. Now we got the autonomy races coming about. So was that it for Tesla news? Was that my Wednesday to Wednesday?
That's your Wednesday to Wednesday news.
You forgot one piece of news, though.
What did I forget?
You forgot there's going to be a Tesla holiday software release that Elon said is
Oh
lit
yeah.
twice. 2
Oh
fire emojis.
yeah.
Double lit.
Oh yeah. Double lit holiday update. Did we have a holiday update last year?
I
That was romance mode and all that, right? Or was V10 the holiday update?
No, because V10 was earlier than holiday. Because I think it was like October or November. I mean, I guess November is kind of holidays, but I don't know. Do you think it's V11 or do you think it's going to be something a little bit more silly?
I hope so. I really do hope so. I know there's not really a need for an entire new refresh to the interface,
Mm-hmm.
but I've liked the path that Tesla has taken prior of continuously refreshing the interface and adding bulk features. I hope it's not just a simple Easter egg. I
Well,
hope it is V11.
I don't know what they would add. I don't know what I would even want. But in Elon's words, uh, so many things you want and some you didn't know you wanted. So
There better be waypoints. I can hear all of Twitter yelling right now. If they don't add waypoints, Elon Musk is canceled. We're all buying Chevy Bolts.
I'm refunding every Tesla memorabilia I have. I am unfollowing Elon from Twitter. And in fact, I'm blocking him. And yeah.
Tesla Kilo, which we covered last week, last
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Last Wednesday.
on our last Wednesday to Wednesday
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
He did mention that would be restocked
Oh.
for this holiday season, so that's something to look forward to if you didn't get a chance to snag one of those $250 lightning bottles.
And you don't want to pay
You'll
$750 for an empty lightning
Yeah.
bottle?
If you don't want to pay $750, you will have another opportunity to pay $250 instead.
So good luck. I wish you all the best.